Hello everyone, in this video we will be discussing income inequality in India. Recently, World Inequality Report 2022 was released and India ranks among the most unequal nations in the world in wealth and income inequality. Now let us look what is the present situation in India. In India, according to World Inequality Report 2022, while the top 10% and top 1% hold 57% and 22% of the total national income respectively, the bottom 50% share has gone down to 13%. It is very sad that India stands out as a poor and very unequal country with an affluent elite.
It is seen that rich are becoming richer through chronic capitalism and inheritance.
Now, what is chronic capitalism? Chronic capitalism is basically an indicator of the state of the economy where success in a business is determined by the mutual relationship between businessmen and government officials. And inheritance means the wealth inherited rather than being earned. On the other side, we see that poor are still struggling to earn a minimum wage and access quality education and healthcare services. Now, let us discuss what are the reasons for income inequality in India. First major reason is unemployment in India. There is a huge unemployment in India and the lack of sufficient employment not being created in time is the reason why there is an income gap today between classes. Another major reason is government's high dependence on indirect taxes. Indirect taxes tend to take a higher percentage of income from those on low income. You might have seen that the GST in many products is very high, which is actually hurting the lower income people in our country. One more reason for income inequality is decline in the proportion of corporate tax and gross tax revenue receipt of the union government. Also, the cost of education and healthcare services in India are very high. This results in high amount of debt taken by ordinary people. Now let us look at some points. What are the steps taken by the Indian government? The government has increased its expenditure in social sectors such as education and the health sector, which could help in neutralizing the effect of high indirect taxes. Household conditions have improved enormously due to the targeted efforts through several social protection schemes, especially in the areas of water availability and sanitation, which has increased the standard of living. The government has come up with schemes like Employment Welfare Scheme 2022, Self-Employment Training Program and Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana to increase employment in India. Now let us look at some points what more can be done. Even though the government has increased its spending on health sector to 2.1% of our GDP and intends to increase it by 2.5%, it is still among the lowest of the world, with the global average being 6% of the GDP. Decent healthcare will stay a luxury until the government decides to increase its spending further in the healthcare sector. India needs to make its manufacturing sector more lucrative to attract foreign investment, which will help to create more manual intensive jobs. Current tax system favors the super rich. Abhijit Banerjee, the Nobel Prize winner, suggested that wealth tax need to be reintroduced in India for redistribution of resources.
Now let us discuss what are the best practices in other countries.
Major economies in the world have increased their spending on health and education to make them affordable to ordinary people. Countries like Japan and Denmark have implemented progressive tax which is based on taxpayers' ability to pay. It imposes a lower tax rate on low income earners than on those with high income. Countries like Japan, South Korea, Germany and China focuses more on producing a skilled labor force by spending more on vocational training. This makes their labor market more lucrative for both domestic as well as multinational firms. To increase the participation of women in the workforce, many countries have strengthened anti-discrimination laws and advocated for policies that protect women from workplace discrimination.
In a nutshell, what we have discussed is the high inequality shows that the gains from expanding economies are not being shared equally and that the majority of them are going to a small number of already wealthy individuals. High inequality poses a threat to our nation's prosperity and development. The government must take immediate action to solve these issues. In the long run, extreme level of inequality undermines social cohesion and impede development, resulting in a high level of dissatisfaction and resentfulness in society. Thank you for watching. Comment below what are your opinion on this topic and don't forget to subscribe this channel for more hot topics like this.